Today's lesson is very similar to yesterday's lesson. We're just now going to be dividing 3-digit by 1-digit whole numbers, and we're also going to be including remainders today. So let's start by writing 272 using base 10 blocks. I see that I have a 2 in the hundreds place, so I'm going to draw 2 hundreds, and I'm going to put H's inside of them so that we can differentiate them from the ones. I see I have a 7 in the tens place, so I'm going to draw 7 tens blocks. 7. Now I'm going to be drawing 2 ones blocks because we have a 2 in the ones place. So my number represented here is 272. I'm going to be dividing this into 2 groups. Sorry, it's going to be, I'm blurring just a second. So I'm going to be making 2 groups that I'm going to be dividing these into, and I got the 2 from our divisor right here. So let's start with the hundreds. We're going to be dividing these evenly between these 2 groups. So I know that I can put 100 in my first block, my first group, and the second 100 in my second group. I'm going to cross out the hundreds that I've used. Now I'm going to move on to tens. So I see that I have 7 tens, so I know that I can put 1 10 here, 1 10 here, and I'm going to cross out 2 of the tens that I've used. I'm going to put another 10 in the first group, another 10 in the second group, and cross out 2 more tens. I'm going to put a third 10 in each of the groups and cross off 2 more tens. Oh, I see I have a 10 left over, but I can't evenly split 1 10 between the 2 groups, so I'm going to regroup this. I'm going to circle the leftover 1, and I'm going to rewrite 110 as 10 ones. So I'm right now drawing 10 ones blocks, or ones cubes. So now you'll see that we have the 10 ones that we had here, but we also have the 2 ones that we already had. In total, we have 12 ones cubes. So I'm going to be distributing 12 ones between these 2 groups. So I'm going to start by putting 1 in each group, cross out 1 of the ones. Oh, so sorry, it's so blurry. There we go. Now I'm going to be putting another 1 in each of these groups and crossing out 2 ones. And keep going until I'm out of my ones cubes. Oh, there we go. I've evenly distributed all of my cubes. Let's see how much we have in just one group. We have 100, 3 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. So 272 divided by 2 is 136. I can use my bar model when it wants to focus. I can use my bar model to help me check my answer. While it's refocusing, I'm going to just draw my rectangle off to the side. There we go. My entire bar represents 272 because that's our dividend, or the number we started with. I'm going to be putting this into 2 parts, or breaking this into 2 parts, because our divisor is 2. Now I'm thinking, what numbers are the same that I can add together to get 272? Well, let's see. If I put 136 in each part, because that's my quotient here, my answer, let's see if when I add this together, if I get 272. 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2. Oh, so the number that we started with. So 136 is correct. We're going to be moving on to part B, where we're doing 367 divided by 3. There we go. So I'm going to start by representing 367 with my base 10 blocks. I have 3 hundreds, so I'm going to draw 3 hundreds grids. 6 tens, so I'm going to be drawing 6 tens blocks. And 7 ones. Now I'm going to be splitting this between 3 groups. So I'm going to draw 3 groups down here. Let's start with our hundreds. I'm going to place 100 in each of these groups. And now that I've placed them, I'm going to cross them out so I know I've used them. Now we're going to be replacing the tens. So I'm going to start by putting 1 10 in each group, and I'm going to cross out 3 tens because I've used 3 of them. I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I'm going to cross out 3 more tens because I've used them. And now we're done with tens. We've evenly distributed them. We're going to move on to ones. I'm going to start by placing 1 1 in each group and cross out 3 ones. Well, let's see, I still have 4 left, so I know I can put at least 1 more 1 in each group and cross out the ones I used. Oh, but look, we have 1 1 left over. I know I can't evenly distribute this, so the 1 that is left over is going to be my remainder. So here we're looking at just one group. We have 100, 2 tens, 2 ones, so that's 122. And we have 1 cube left over, so my remainder is 1. Let's check using a bar model. So if we have our full bar model here, our whole represents 367. We're splitting that up evenly. Let's see. I know I'm going to put my quotient here, my answer, 122 into each of these. Let's add this up. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So that's 366. We're 1 away from 367, but that's where our remainder comes in. So I'm going to tack off at the very end, and it's much smaller because it's only 1. I'm going to tack on that extra 1. Notice that these are not even size parts because this 1 is our remainder. The 122, even though it's not perfect, is much more even for each part. 366 plus our remainder 1 gets us 367, which is the dividend that we started with. Let's move on to C. 567 divided by 4. So we're going to start, it gets less blurry, we're going to start by representing 567 using base 10 blocks. So I know I have 5 hundreds, 6 tens, and 7 ones. So let's see. I'm going to be splitting this between 4 groups. So I'm going to draw my 4 groups down here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start by distributing each of the hundreds. I'm going to put 100 in each group. Cross out the ones I've used. Let's see. Well, interesting. We still have 100 left over, and I know I can't evenly distribute 100 between 4 groups, so I'm going to do what I had done with the tens earlier, and I'm going to regroup this. I know that 10 tens is the same as 100, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle it, draw an arrow so I know where I'm going, and now I'm going to draw 10 tens down here. So now I have the 10 tens that I regrouped from 100, and I still have my 6 tens from up here. So in total, I have 16 tens. I'm going to start by distributing them evenly between the 4 groups. I know that 16 tens divided by 4 groups means I'm going to be putting 4 tens in each group. So I'm going to start by putting 4 tens in each group and see if I have any left over. I've used 16 tens. So I'm going to now cross out 16 tens from my bank from what I started with. And now that I've redistributed all my tens, I can be distributing my ones. So I have, let's see, 7 ones. So I'm going to distribute them evenly between all 4 groups. Cross out the ones I've used. Let's see. Oh, it looks like I still have 3 left over. Well, I can see that I have 3 ones, but 4 groups. So that's not enough to distribute them evenly. The 3 is going to be my remainder. Let's see how many cubes we have in each group. We have 100, 4 tens, and 1 1. So my quotient is 141, and my remainder is 3. So my quotient is 141, remainder 3. I'm going to check this with a bar model. Starting with my bar model here, my dividend, or the number I'm starting with, was 567. I'm splitting this evenly between 4 parts. I'm going to put my quotient, which is 141, into each part. And now I'm going to add that up. One plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. So let's see, I'm at 564. I needed to get to 567. I'm 3 away, but look, my remainder is 3. So I can tack on that extra 3. Remember, the box is smaller because it doesn't represent 141. It's just a portion of it. So now I have my 564 plus my remainder 3, and now I'm at my dividend, which is 567. We're going to do one more problem. Number 4. We have 434 divided by 3. We're going to start by representing 434 using base 10 blocks. I'm going to write 4 hundreds. 3 tenths, 4 ones. And it'll get unblurry in just a second. Here we go. So I'm now distributing this between 3 groups. So I'm going to be drawing 3 groups down here. So let's see. Let's put 100 in each of these groups. I'm going to cross out the groups that I've used, the hundreds that I've used. I have 100 left, but I can't evenly distribute 100 as it is right now between 3 groups. I'm going to regroup this 100 into tens. I know that 10 tens equals 100, so I'm going to circle my 100, draw my arrow, and now I'm going to draw 10 tens down here. Now I have my 10 tens that I just regrouped. My 3 tens from earlier, I have a total of 13 tens. I'm going to start by putting 1 10 into each group. Cross off each 10 that I use, so I'm crossing off 3 tens. I know I can put at least 1 more 10 into each group. Cross off 3 tens. Do the same thing again. Cross off 3 tens. Looks like we're going to get 4 tens into each group. Oh, but we still have this 1 extra 10 left over. We can't distribute that between 3 groups evenly, so we need to regroup this 1 10. I know that 10 ones is the same as 1 10, so I'm going to regroup this 1 10 into 10 ones. I'm going to draw 10 ones here. So now I have my 10 ones that I regrouped, my 4 ones that I had already had. I have a total of 14 ones. I'm going to start by distributing them evenly between each of the 3 groups. I've used 3 ones, so I'm going to cross out 3 of the ones. I'm going to continue to redistribute these. To the right. Go. Looks like I can put 1 more 1 in each group. I have 2 ones left over. That's not enough to put 1 1 in each group. So my 2 ones left over is going to be my remainder. So let's see what our quotient is. For 1 group, we have 100, 4 tens, and 4 ones. So our quotient is 144, remainder 2. Let's check our work.